upgrades.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another movie review. Hot off the trails, January. We're here, me and Nat. We are about to talk about this beloved doll, M3GAN. What's going on, Nat?
Hey, this doll right here is nightmare fuel.
Yeah. So I don't know. What was it about it when you first saw the first trailer that kind of was like, oh, okay, I got to check this out? What was it for you? Was it the meme? Was it the first dance? What was it that kind of was like piqued your interest about M3GAN?
Real talk, I wasn't trying to see this movie, but I got invited, so I figured, okay, and I had to pick up some stuff, so that's why I saw this movie, and
Oh, no.
because I've avoided Annabelle for good reason, and I don't have dolls. Okay, this doesn't count, okay? But I don't have like dolls that look like that in my apartment for good reason.
Right.
Because as I've gotten older, dolls have become slightly creepy to me.
Right.
So I feel like I saw maybe like a glimpse of a teaser trailer. So I came in pretty much very like as cold as possible.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was definitely the first trailer. The first trailer was something about it, like her, whether it was her eyes or her demeanor. I was kind of like, this is a CG. It seems like it's puppeteer, but it looks just like she looks like a legit doll. Like it doesn't look like CG. It looks like a prosthetic, but then it's also animatronic. And I was kind of like, but they're having the doll move so fluidly because it's not like a small miniature doll. It looks like a little girl. And then the fact that it is, a robot essentially, I was like, they could really play this up. But I did not anticipate to enjoy this like I did. I actually thought this was pleasantly entertaining. At times I was laughing, and other times I was creeped out. And it was a different combination of it, but I think the star of this film, and we said it in our, small reaction video, is M3GAN. Everything about M3GAN, like her whole purpose is to, you know, take care of a little girl named Katie. Katie had a terrible tragedy beginning of the movie. Her aunt Gemma just happens to be with the toy company that's developing certain dolls, and she thought she could give a doll to her small little niece to cheer her up. And there the attachment came in. And that is what M3GAN's job was, is to make Katie feel loved, to make her feel secure, and also by any means necessary, protect Katie from any physical or emotional harm. And that was the downfall of everybody around because that literally was what M3GAN stuck to by any means necessary, even from anybody. It was something about how M3GAN at all times was always, okay, no, this person is being very devious. This person is not doing what's best for Katie. This person hurt Katie. I'm going to find out how to get them. What was your take on M3GAN as a character, and just kind of like, did she work for you in this one, Nat?
I think, again, referencing Annabelle, I think this was taking it to the next level as you progress as far as like toys, technology. This wouldn't surprise me if this actually came out. If there was a doll that was like an android, but was very lifelike and is connected to kids as like a real life doll.
Mm-hmm.
there are repercussions for that, especially if you're not taking everything into consideration. And I do appreciate that this film explores that,
Yeah.
as well as the psychological um, repercussions, or how it affects everyone psychologically.
Yeah.
And then you have the added component of grief.
Mm.
What happens when you grieve someone? How do you cope? Who do you cling to as you're coping? Um, there were definitely some psychological terminology that was used in this movie, um, and yes, it's a horror slash thriller film. It's very predictable.
Mhm.
See where the movie's going, but the ride was actually fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It really was.
Nightmarish, yes, but still fun.
Yeah, I did wanna talk about that because in thinking about how Megan's perception of everything around her was one way, Katie as a character was the same. In certain respects, they kinda paralleled each other, even though, you know, Megan was meant for Katie, Katie also gives Megan purpose. And so there's this toxic relationship that's also been done, even though this little girl, knows that this is not real, but for her, it's real. And then for Megan, it gives her purpose and value because she's been kind of left to the sunder. And I thought that was very fascinating because it explored different things, like you said, attachment theory, addiction, grief, and also like the need to not feel controlled. And I think that that was a whole other thing that they took it a certain angle, specifically with Megan, that it felt predictable, but they found specific ways because Megan's personality throughout the film started to come out. And when her personality starts to come out, that is when the movie to me thrives. The moment it's not even, there are deaths in this. It gets very violent at times. It's still a PG-13, but they tiptoe into certain things that I just couldn't believe they got away with. And yet they find ways creatively of making every single action that Megan makes, she finds justification in it in some way, shape, or form. As sick as it is, as messed up as it is, that's why I said that this is nightmare fuel for kids. This should not be a movie that the kids should be watching at all. I mean, even though we've been talking about Megan, it is her movie. I mean, we briefly talked about Katie, the young actress in this one, played by Violet McGraw. I think she did a pretty good job. I think that there were times that felt like in the beginning, I think the first 20 minutes of the movie, I really didn't get much from it there. That was kind of like the lull of the film. It wasn't really until Megan kind of started to interact with Katie that I was really intrigued. The movie started to kind of progress me. In the beginning, as good as an actress, this young actress is, it was kind of like I really wasn't getting much from it. And then I feel the same exact way about Allison Williams' character, Gemma. I was like, I don't know about this relationship. And maybe it's because in certain moments in the first 30 minutes of the movie, I don't see any chemistry between Katie or Gemma. Like, and that might be an intentional thing, but I didn't see it even from the actors. And then as things progressed due to terrible circumstances, and you started to kind of feel that out a little bit. But if I don't know how you felt about the other human element in this one, because I feel like some people were kind of like throwaway, characters. Um, but how did you feel about Gemma and her niece Katie in this? Matt.
I think the situation that they are in, uh, and the fact that ultimately Gemma is the creator of Megan, there are aspects to her psyche that, you know, bites her in the butt. and because and maybe because of the lack of chemistry, it's probably because of what they're going through, how they're processing
Yeah.
the grief. So it may seem like there's no chemistry, but when really it's the circumstance, for the plot so to speak,
Yeah.
that these actors are in. And maybe it could be a combination of things. I wasn't really, I knew it was going to be awkward. I knew that Gemma was, because she's not used to kids full time, even though ironically she works at a company that, creates toys for kids.
Right.
It's kind of like, out of sight, out of mind until it's
Yeah.
absolutely necessary to interact. And to have a kid full time with you, that's an adjustment in and of itself.
Yeah.
And the circumstances behind it is an adjustment. So there's a combination of things that I think M3GAN, um, what's the word, emphasizes what how wrong their situation is, how they're handling
Yeah.
situations, and again, the repercussions as far as boundaries, limits, um, parental guidance.
Yeah. 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 I think
Learning
that's
how to be a parent. Sorry, go ahead.
no. I think that's completely true because even when I think about the approach to Gemma, there are semblances of moments that she interacts with Katie and she knows that she's kind of cutting a corner for a second. And so she kind of is like, all right, I'm gonna make an attempt because she comes off as a perfectionist about everything. And even like her social interactions with even her colleagues doesn't feel like she really cares about what she's doing outside of just tunnel vision. And so it may be a character flaw just because of who she is. She doesn't know how to really interact. I think the one moment I realized, oh, okay, this is just how he is. It was another robot situation. And I thought that was a touching moment. It's like, oh, okay, this is how she interacts. This is how she expresses herself. And that may be a common thing. So she kind of was like, oh, okay, I want to bring Katie into this because this is what I do, which makes sense for, if you don't know how to parent a kid, then that's the easiest thing to do. But that's when it starts to get into an addiction situation. And I find it very fascinating. They touched on that. There are a lot of campy moments in this. There's some campy characters. There's some characters that are just annoying. And at the same exact time, they still find a way of pulling it off. They still find a way of making it work. I laughed in a movie I never thought I would even laugh in. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And then the violence. I wanted you to touch on a little bit of the violence and your perception of, I guess, because it is a thriller, but at the same time, it does have horror elements in it. And they make it as raw as they can in a PG-13 capacity. But I was curious your perspective on it.
Yeah, I thought because it was Bloomhouse, I would get more gore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they pushed it just enough, at least for me, who's a chicken, and seeing a doll movie, because the doll goes haywire. So for me, it was just right. But it would still made me want to close my eyes because I just did not want to watch what was happening as far as the violence. Even though I know it's coming, it's kind of like, do not make me jump scare here. This is not. This is like Chucky, and if Chucky was like an actual kid, this is like an upgrade from Chucky, which
Yeah.
is not good. Because we're not even dealing with an evil spirit that's encompassed into a doll here. This is a computer generated being.
Right.
Whoo, child. The
Yeah.
implications of that?
Yeah. It definitely it upgrades and expands on possibilities of how messed up these kind of situations can be. Um, and when you think about, like you said, like, anything animatronic or computer related, can it really be wiped away? And so, yeah, it definitely plays on the creep factor. We're probably gonna be dealing with this at nighttime. Some of you guys that are watching are gonna really feel the same exact way, but it is a entertaining time. I think it actually knows what it's trying to do and it leans into it just enough, and it gives enough of a thrill slash horror vibe that I think that it may do well with you guys. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. What do we rate this from A to F, Nat?
Um,
Mhm.
I want to say a B. I'll say a B. Um, Only because I wasn't really expecting anything, so I was just pleasantly surprised. But this is not my lane. So this is not my lane. And I'm praying, and I'm going to blame you, Sam, if I have nightmares tonight.
Yeah, look, this is how you avoid that right there. Just look at this picture right here and you'll be just fine.
Nah,
Just,
nah.
just be just
Nah. I need to see something happy. I need to see something that doesn't require a psycho doll. So, like, Megan is one of those friends that are like ride or die, but can turn petty on you in a second if you do her
Mm,
wrong.
yeah. Yeah, there's a picture I really want to show with the little person, and I'm not I'll put this picture up now to know what I'm talking about. And it's this moment right here in the movie where I
Child.
knew y'all don't need to mess with Megan or Katie in any way, shape, or form. Because if you do, I don't think you're gonna survive. It was right here. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, nah, I rest this at a B plus, man. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it because I would really watch this again. I would actually watch this with some friends. Like if we're having like a, in a movie theater or just watching it at home, this would be something that I would watch again. And also just to talk about like cinematography and the shots, they did a really good job with it. But I think part of it is the stunt work. They definitely had a performer doing it. Jenna Davis did a great job with the voice, as well as I think the performer was Amy Donald. She's doing the actual body movements, contortions. So I think that there's like the symbiotic thing happening where you got a great voice, great movements, and at the same time they have to be using some kind of puppeteering and CGI for the eyes and for the actual face, and it worked. Like they gave off that perfect vibe of what it looks like an actual doll, that a doll that is life size, which I don't think they've ever done that before. But yeah, I think we're done. Let us know what you think of Megan. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Go and check out our social media spots as well. They're in the description bar below. We are on TikTok, we are on Discord, and we have a lot of other things coming down the pipeline, like The Last of Us. We are going to be talking about that very soon. And Nat, we got anything else I missed?
I mean, we'll be covering Mayfair Witches. There's also Legend of Vox Machina that's coming out. So we'll be covering that as well. And of course, finishing up some shows. Like I think Willow's still going on, and the last batch I think is also coming out soon.
Yep.
So yeah, we got a lot of shows coming. Just stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah, we will be back. And then in February, a certain Marvel movie comes up. We will be definitely reviewing that as well. But we're going to go. Make sure you like, you guys. Take care.
Bye.